Good evening, everyone. I'm Laura Ingraham. This is the Ingraham Angle from Washington tonight. Time for a real president. That's the focus of tonight's Angle. Millions of Americans are suffering, and more than 130 are dead in the aftermath of one of the worst hurricanes ever to hit the United States. And tragically for those affected, we neither had a president nor a vice president in place and equipped to direct the federal preparation, nor to demand a swift response by the federal government. The victims of Hurricane Helene didn't know where to turn over the weekend.
At this point, you don't see a FEMA station set up,
That's
right?
right. And we should.
We should have by now.
Yeah.
Is that concerning?
Yeah, I mean, we expect more and we can't get out.
You should expect more. Americans can't get out, they said, but Kamala Harris had no trouble getting in to California and to Las Vegas to campaign over the weekend. Well, the same with Biden. He spent most of his time at Rehoboth Beach.
Do you wish that you were put more resources in North Carolina, knowing what you know now? And do you wish that you spent the weekend here in Washington rather than in Delaware?
Come on, stop that game, will you? Rather than Delaware, it's 90 miles from here, okay? I was on the phone the whole time, working on that.
The whole time. Well, needless to say, they were both slammed for their failure to address the nation in real time. Asleep at the wheel, absentee leaders, the dereliction of duty. These were just some of the phrases ricocheting around Instagram and Twitter about what seemed like a low-key public response to an epic natural disaster. Now, Biden finally got shamed into going. He says he'll go to the region on Wednesday. As for Kamala, her team released a statement saying she would visit the regions affected when it was not disruptive to ongoing operations. Now, what they really meant was when it wasn't disruptive to Harris's previously scheduled campaign events. We saw what a real leader's response is like this afternoon, though, in a very hard-hit area of Georgia.
We have a lot of truckloads of different items, from oil to water to all sorts of equipment that's going to help them. Many thousands are without power. They're running low on food and fuel. We brought a lot of it down with us. It's going to be distributed now or soon throughout Georgia, as well as North Carolina, South Carolina, Florida, Virginia, Alabama, and Tennessee.
And yet, remember all the blather at the DNC about how Trump doesn't care about anyone but himself?
Throughout the region, our hearts are with you, and we are going to be with you as long as you need it. It's called an hour of need. You're in our prayers, and we pray to God, and throughout this long weeks, the long weeks that lay ahead, you're going to have a lot of work, but the end result is it's going to be good.
Harris couldn't even give up a day on the trail to pretend to care. Yet hours after Trump showed up with truckloads of supplies, speaking to first responders and volunteers, Kamala showed up at work.
I have received regular briefings on the impact of Hurricane Helene, including from Administrator Criswell. And over the past 24 hours, I have spoken with Governor Kemp of Georgia, Governor Cooper of North Carolina, and many local officials. I have shared with them that we will do everything in our power to help communities respond and recover.
Well, that's fine. And of course, the government should be mobilized to help. But that does not change the fact that Biden and Kamala Harris were not at the White House driving our federal preparedness last week.
On the hurricane, Mr. President, why weren't you and Vice President Harris here in Washington commanding this weekend?
I was commanding. I was on the phone for at least 2 hours yesterday and the day before as well. I command. It's called a telephone. And all my security people.
Okay, well, your job isn't simply to be briefed as you hunker down in Delaware or just proceed as if nothing's wrong on the campaign trail. When you're president, you're actually the nation's chief executive. And you're constitutionally bound to ensure that the laws are faithfully executed. Now, implicit in the oath of office is a pledge that your policies will prepare and protect us preemptively. And that means we don't appoint people to key positions, key cabinet positions, because they're a first this or that. It means that you don't waste money that we need in times of crisis or fuel by draining the Strategic Petroleum Reserve to help your party win the midterms. What it means is that you're president in Washington and on camera reassuring the public before, during, and after a crisis. That means you're leading with confidence. Now, every college football coach in America, you all watch the games over the weekend, frankly, every senior associate at every major law firm works harder at their jobs than Biden and Harris. It's not leadership to release a statement or release a photo while you're on your campaign plane. It's not leadership to say that you spoke with officials on the ground or I'm getting regular briefings. A chief executive drives the key personnel and knows enough to ask the right questions, like how do we get more potable water in place before the hurricane hits? And how do we distribute it as fast as possible? The moment Kamala ended her prepared remarks at FEMA today, CNN went to a fire chief in Winona County, North Carolina. It's not too far away from Asheville. It's been flattened. Kamala said, "We're with you at that FEMA briefing, and you'll have everything you need."
Total destruction, devastation, and I don't even know if that would even be the right word to say. This will not be a repair. This will be a rebuild.
Do people in your region have basic necessities like electricity or water?
No, the water and the power is both out currently in our area. The businesses through our main part of our community, that they're going to have to be tore down and rebuilt. The main bridge through our community is damaged. That bridge goes over to a secondary road. That secondary road is not there on the east side of the bridge. It's not even there. It's been washed away.
Well, they've been out of water, cell phone service, and electricity for, a couple of days now. Now, this is horrifying. Every morning in a crisis like this, we need a real president who will call in all of the top officials to demand results expeditiously, not just get a briefing. All red tape must be cut. All of it. But literally no one thinks Joe Biden or Kamala Harris is doing everything they can beyond just observing what other people are doing. When Governor Ron DeSantis' team knew this hurricane was coming, man, did they kick into high gear preemptively. They had their comms teams ready and in place. They had their logistics people ready, their search and rescue personnel mobilized. If you follow them on Twitter like I do, you saw it all. But Kamala, well, she was busy with other things.
Good evening, Nevada! Good evening.
Disgraceful. And back to Mayor Pete, our Secretary of Transportation. Well, he loves to go on TV campaigning for Kamala. Every 5 minutes seems like he's on TV. But when will he go on TV to tell us when I-40 is going to open? Or how many bridges are going to have to be totally rebuilt? Will they drop all their DEI regulations, any that still exist, to ensure that people get the help they need as fast as possible? But just like the slow, inept response by the Secret Service at Butler Field, the delayed show of concern and coordination by our president and our vice president has bred its own conspiracy theories. And what is the U.S. Postal Service going to do for all those counties that can't get their mail-in ballots? Has Biden or Harris demanded a real plan for that? And what is that plan? Now, if Trump had been president over the past 10 days, a lot of people in the federal government would have been working a lot of nights and on the weekend to prepare for this hurricane. He was always pushing people to accomplish things faster. And it can annoy some people who would rather go home early. But if they screwed up royally or they didn't move fast enough, they were fired, sometimes publicly.
When somebody does a bad job, I fire them. They have done such a poor job, and they never fire anybody.
You got to put pressure on employees to get the job done. These people in the Carolinas and in Georgia, Tennessee, they're lucky that this is an election year. They will get help. But the poor people of Maui still don't have all the help they need. We don't just need a real president now. We need a real president next year and for the next 4 years. The crises buffeting America at home and abroad are severe. And if we do not respond in the right way and at the right time, the consequences for all of us will be dire. And that's The Angle.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.